Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at the Hipster playing cards from Legends. This deck is actually the very first design ever from now acclaimed deck creator Jody Eklund. Jody, these days, when you see one of his decks launched on Kickstarter, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that it's going to be funded almost instantly. But this deck was actually unsuccessful when it launched on Kickstarter back in 2014. The deck wasn't funded, but it wasn't until it was bought out by somebody else and finally printed by Legends that we got to see the deck in person. So really glad to get a chance to appreciate some of Jody's early artwork in the Hipster deck. So let's jump into it, take a look, and find out more about the deck. All right, so the deck itself, of course, is inspired by the common hipster. You'll find them in all sorts of trendy cities around the US, places like Austin or Portland. They're those guys, that kind of subculture of people who have this really distinctive style, really follow trends a lot, and yet at the same time value individuality and authenticity. There's lots of distinctive elements throughout this deck that you'll find commonly on hipsters, whether it be the beards, retro electronics, things like that. So lots to celebrate the hipster throughout this deck. Let's take a look at it. All right, starting with the tuck case, it's done on a beautiful white pearlescent stock that just shimmers in the light. Let me zoom in here just so you can see that great finish, that kind of crystal finish on the tuck. Really great feel to the tuck overall, has a nice smooth finish, and then has little accents of aqua colored foil matched with the black and white artwork. So you've got Legends rimmed in that aqua foil, and then a frame here with really ornate detailing in the foil, and at the center features one of our hipsters. Of course, he's there smoking the old school pipe, and at the bottom has the hipster playing cards in this really ornate kind of Victorian inspired font. On the sides, we've got quality playing cards along with the website where at least you used to be able to order the deck. Other side, same thing. Bottom has your ad copy. Mentions the copyright in 2014 when the deck was originally designed. And of course, these are printed by Legends Playing Card Company. Top has the same thing we saw on the sides there, hipster playing cards with the website. And the back gives you the first preview of the back design of the cards. Interesting on the sides and the back, whereas we had that bright aqua foil here, it's kind of a lighter blue that's used, a different shade of blue on the rest of the tuck case. But really nice feel to it overall. Would have been cool with a little bit of embossing, but that smooth finish with that pearlescent style just really does stand out still at the same time. As you open it up, you have one of the famous last words of every hipster, "Into it before it was cool," and features a little QR code there that I think nowadays takes you to the Legends website. Inside, nothing printed on the inside, but you get another look at that beautiful pearlescent finish. And I really, really like the tuck case. For all of its simplicity, I think it's just really elegantly done and captures the theme right off the bat. All right, so that's the tuck case and into the cards. And here's the back design. All right, so we saw it a second ago with the back of the tuck case. Of course, the same design. We get our same hipster here on the top and the bottom. He gets his own little portrait style there. And then the rest of the design really ornate, kind of reminds me of like tribal tattoo work or something like that, with the fancy flowing lines, almost like flames or vines going all over the place. Get a trio of diamonds around that frame in the middle. And despite just kind of how vibrant and alive this looks, it's really just two colors. You have the black and the blue against the white. But with that really fine detailing, you almost get like shades of gray, it almost looks like throughout here. So really nice look to the back design of the cards. Finishes out with that thin white poker border. And it's kind of slightly broken up top and bottom by our hipster portrait there. All right, so there's the back design. You get a pair of jokers. First look at a few different hipsters. First one features a very classic hipster. So you get that really fancy border going all the way around. You have the banners top and bottom say "Into it before it was cool." And there's our hipster standing there in the middle. You'll recognize the style right off the bat. Things like the rolled up jeans or the chukka boots. He's got some retro electronics. Maybe that's a Walkman or something in his hand. Scarf around his neck. Really cool cell shading style to this as well. I really like the art style. One that I don't think you see enough in playing cards. I love cell shading style artwork. Have Joker there. And then the other Joker, this is an interesting one. Had to look up a little bit to figure out where this is coming from. This is actually a picture of Jody's 3-year-old daughter. when she was kind of showing her support for the hipster deck. So she did her own dressed like a hipster look. So she put on the horn rim glasses and the flannel shirt, went running around the house. And on the Kickstarter page, there's actually a great picture of his daughter that inspired this card. So I'll put it up here so you can see the comparison. So there's his daughter, made her way onto the second Joker. All right, the 4 aces. So all 4 aces, fairly ornate. Again, feature that large pip in the center that's bordered and framed out by what I can only say, it does really remind me of that sort of tribal tattoo artwork. Really ornate, really fancy look to it overall. I like the design on these a lot. The bordering around this gets kind of fat, a lot going on here. And the aces, just like the Jokers and pretty much all the cards in the deck, had this into it before it was cool. I could have done without that border being on every single card, but I still really like the artwork on these. Love the weathered look of the background too. Ace of Spades adds a little bit more with the hipster playing cards, kind of their logo there in the center. So there's the 4 aces. The number cards are all interesting as well. So each one of them is going to feature, again, that same banner. Really could have done without that. You get the classic pip and index in the corner. The pips have kind of a weathered look to them, but the real draw on these, and what I find just really humorous, is the quotes in the middle. They have all sorts of random sort of hipster quotes. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but I'll highlight a couple of them. They can be, kind of deep thoughts, like pseudo deep thoughts ones, like this one, but I will soon forget the color of your eyes and you'll forget mine. Just all sorts of different sayings that you might hear from the thinking hipster. Stars can't shine without darkness. So fun to kind of read through these. Some of them made me laugh a little bit. Some of them were just kind of head shaking experiences, like this one. Sometimes I stand on the rooftop of my existence, arms stretched out, begging for more. I really like this one. I had a mustache when I was 13. So fun to just kind of flip through and read all of the different quotes throughout this one. I think it was just a blast. Definitely leaves this as a one-way style number cards here, which some might find annoying, but for me, I had a lot of fun flipping through this. And I think if you were using this for gameplay, I think people would just be laughing throughout as they kind of found the different random quotes in here and maybe kind of associated some of them with somebody they know. So very cool to add the quotes on there. There was talk at one point with the deck of removing the quotes. I'm glad that he didn't. I thought it was a really good choice to leave those in. All right, now the court cards are going to feature more quotes down the banner in the middle, but of course the courts are all going to be some of our hipsters who kind of made their way onto these. I love the two-way style. Once again, that cell shading style art, and all of them was sort of the trappings of your common hipster, whether it be like the camera in hand here or the hats that the queen and king are wearing there. And of course, each one of them with a quote of their own. Kind of a blue color scheme that they're wearing on the clubs. And then as you go to the diamonds, we get a lot more reds coming in there along with the blues. This one's one of my favorite. I love these listening. I listen to bands that don't even exist yet. And of course, he's listening on an old school iPod. One stash to rule them all. Of course, those epic stashes, another hallmark of a hipster. All right, then as you go into the hearts, there, a couple more pops of red. I really like how those pops of red on the hat or the scarf really stand out. And then into the clubs. This one really stands out. Just that little tiny hit of orange really stands out. Only time I think that color is used. This one, a little bit on the visor there. And the King of Spades, of course, is the full view of the hipster that we saw on the tuck case and on the back design of the cards. So he makes his way on the King of Spades. And that is the deck. Now, as far as handling, I couldn't find information as to what stock these are printed on, so I'm just gonna have to describe it to you guys. It's a really thin and really stiff stock. These are only slightly fatter than like a slimline Cardamundi deck, which is a really thin deck. So very thin feel to them all, but kind of a denser feel. And they're really kind of stiff, like a little bit harder to bend, still usable. They do fan really nicely, kind of a slicker feel to them overall. They don't feel embossed, they almost feel smooth finish, but they do handle really beautifully. So no complaints at all on the handling. I think Legends always does a pretty good job with that in my opinion. Now that gets into uses of the deck. Now for me, I think this is a fun gameplay deck. This is one to break out, especially if you have a hipster friend. I think they would get a laugh out of this one. or if your friends just like to make fun of hipsters. Either way, I think this is just a fun deck to use for gameplay. A little bit too much going on to use this for Magic, and I don't think it's, I mean, sure you could use it for cardistry, but I don't think this is going to be one that people are going to reach for cardistry. So for me, use this as a gameplay deck above all else. But anyway, that's it. That is the look at the Hipster from Jody Eklund and Legends. Really fun deck. Really glad I was able to pick this one up. This one took me a while to find. A little bit harder to find on the secondary market these days, but if you can find one, definitely recommend grabbing it. It's just a really fun deck to have. All right, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this look at the Hipster playing cards. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.